I provide you with a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Yankee Stadium is filled to capacity, 30,000 plus people, and you have a chance to go up in front and pitch your product and service. So, who's ready to go out there right now? There's always a few of you, but let me give you 3 challenges to make it even harder. Now, if you just go out there and say, I'm selling carpet cleaning, I'll do 5 rooms for $99, that's not going to get you very far. So what else are you going to do when you're out there besides selling? So there's 8 questions on your worksheet of everything to help you think about everything you could possibly accomplish while you're out there in front of 30,000 people. The second challenge is, let's define your market. There's 100 people in this room and I say, who's looking for a car? Who's going to be buying a car for sure in the next week? 3 people are going to raise their hand. So it's always 3% are buying now. 2 to 4 times that size, depending on your market, are open to it. And the largest group by far is just simply haven't thought about it. And you got you're not interested, and you're definitely not interested. So finally, the third challenge is everyone's in the stadium. You've got their attention, but you've only got their attention for 30 seconds. After that, they're free to get up and start walking out if you don't get their attention. So now that I've made it even harder, who's ready to share their stadium pitch?
Okay, I've got one. Whether you know it or not, like it or not, you're engaged in a financial chess game with the financial institutions and the government, and you don't even have the chessboard. So how do you know how you are doing?
Okay, great, very good. Let's give him a hand. Now, the reason why that's a great stadium pitch is even someone who thought that they're definitely not interested a little while ago is going to be more open to it. So it's going to move people up. They're not interested into thinking about it more, that having thought about it to open to it, and the buying now to sold. So everyone needs to have some market data that intrigues the person you're talking to. It needs to be the 5 scariest trends in your industry, 5 things everyone needs to know about shoes, 5 things everyone needs to know about vitamins. So there's a spot on your worksheet to start working on that. You'll have time to finish that later. Now you've moved the buying now into sold. What about everyone else? You need to do what's called setting their buying criteria. It's also called the filtering effect. So let's say you're looking for luxury cars. You've decided on Mercedes. You love everything about Mercedes. The only negative you can think of is they're expensive to keep up. Now, you have the car picked out, the dealer has it, you call the dealer 3 times but they never call you back. You say, well, that's not very good service, I guess I'm not dealing with Mercedes. Your neighbor comes up to you and says, let's check out Cadillac. And you're like, well, I've never been a Cadillac person, but hesitantly you go to the lot. You have an incredible salesperson, he asks you tons of questions. At one point he pops the hood and he says, check out those platinum spark plugs. It costs us plenty, they'll cost you nothing because this car does not need to be tuned up for 100,000 miles. And that was the only negative on your list of Mercedes. So you were looking at luxury cars in general. You had it narrowed down to Mercedes, but he's kicked that out. Now you're considering Cadillac. Pretty soon he's going to have a few models for you to choose from, and you're going to pick one of those models. You're going to be in love with the car right on their lot. So he's moving you down, setting your buying criteria, moving through the filter until you buy the car on his lot. So let's pretend you have that imaginary car lot. What are 6 to 10 questions that you're going to ask to accomplish what that incredible salesperson accomplished? Once you've done it for the imaginary situation, create 6 to 10 questions that will set the buying criteria for your clients. Now, consider the last time you ran into a salesperson. Now that you've had this training, you're going to have radar for salespeople and the questions they ask. Most salespeople only ask 1 to 2 questions. So you can imagine how much better service, how much more value, how much better job you or your salespeople are going to do when they're asking 6 to 10 questions on every single client. Now that you understand these 2 principles, the stadium pitch and setting buying criteria, I highly recommend that you start using them. So think about how you're going to use them in your cold calling if you're using cold calling, your website. How are you going to use them just in your business at all to train your salespeople? Because now that you know them, if you don't start using them, if you go against one of my clients who is using them, you're not going to stand a chance.